We're through. Bang on schedule.
Great.
Congratulations, Mr. Houseman.
Thanks, boys. There'll be a good bonus for this. Okay, let's go take a look.
Rockfall.
Reverse back. Reverse back.
Oh, that was close.
Guess it was. Well, let's get back to base.
Oh, hello there. Welcome to Brain's laboratory. I'm just running through some videotapes of international rescue operations. You just heard the start of what turned out to be a very tricky rescue indeed. We call it the end of the road. And it was just about that for Eddie Houseman, who was trapped in a precariously balanced explosives truck. This one proved to be a real tough test for Virgil and Thunderbird 2, the biggest of all our rescue craft. He had to negotiate a narrow, man-made canyon with inches to spare on either side, and he wasn't helped any by the stormy weather conditions. You see, the Gray and Houseman Construction Company had been contracted to complete a through road in mountainous and jungle-choked terrain, and they were racing against time, trying to complete the work before the start of the monsoon season. In their favor, they had some really fantastic equipment and first-class men. But for a time, it looked as if Lady Luck had turned her back on them. Let's go back and join them before the trouble really starts.
Eddie, you did wonders. I never thought you'd get through the mountain this side of the monsoons.
Well, with any luck, we're going to make that date.
Let's drink to that.
It's our first big contract. We fall down on this one, we've had it.
Well, Eddie, you played your part. Now I'll play mine. Providing I can get that road finished before the rains, we'll be okay.
Yeah, I guess it's over to you now.
You just go off and enjoy your vacation. And don't worry. Oh, by the way, where are you going to? Anywhere special?
I just, looking up an old friend.
Aircraft approaching the island. It's going.
You're wrong, Gordon.
Sounds like it's coming into land. It is coming into land. Operation Cover-Up.
Operation Cover-Up involves putting an everyday front on the Tracy household. It had been designed for just such an emergency. I had rigged up a control panel which hid all trace of the international rescue setup. For example, the large wall pictures of the Tracy boys in uniform were covered by other photographs of them in everyday clothes. All the communications equipment slid into recesses to be replaced by innocent-looking ornaments. Of course, John was advised to use the secret communications channel in the event of a rescue operation call when visitors were on the island.
I wonder who it can be.
Well, whoever it is, I hope they don't stay long.
Yeah, could be kind of awkward if we get an emergency call.
Gentleman to see you, Mr. Tracy. Mr. Eddie Houseman.
Eddie? Eddie Houseman.
It seemed that Eddie and Tintin had been at school together, and he had stopped off to say hello on his way back to the road camp after his vacation. However, a call from Bob Gray cut short his stay with the Tracys.
Lucky we didn't have a call while he was here, wasn't it, Father?
Yes? Yes, it was, Virgil.
I wonder what sort of trouble they've got on that road.
Oh, Lester. According to the weather reports, we're just gonna make it. Rains are due in about 2 days.
Yeah? Now take a look at this. The instruments are picking up earth tremors in the mountains.
What? How bad are they?
Hard to tell. Signals are faint, but that doesn't mean a thing.
Let's go take a look for ourselves.
Look. Look at that.
I've seen enough.
It's bad.
Monsoon will bring that whole range down into the cutting we've made. We'll never finish the road on time now.
We can't give up now, Bob. We can't.
Eddie, it's too late. The rains have started.
And what do? Just sit here? Let a landslide ruin all our work to date?
That's what we do. And then in the spring,
In the spring, that means we'll lose our contract.
we'll just have to try and get an extension, that's all.
Extension? Why, the only reason we got the contract was because we gave an early completion date. If we don't make the date we said we would, this company's nothing. You're out, I'm out. Everything we planned for, worked for, goes up in smoke. There's no other way, Eddie. That's where you're wrong. There's one way. Let me take a gang of men up there. With carefully placed Newtonic chargers, I could blast the peak and make it fall away from the road instead of into it.
You couldn't do it.
Try me.
Eddie, the seismograph shows that peak could collapse at any second. And even a small slide could cause the charge to explode while you were working on them. If you weren't blown to bits, you'd be buried alive.
I know my job.
And I know mine. And since I'm the senior partner, I say we apply for the extension.
It'll break us.
Maybe. But you'll be alive. Look, I'm not going to argue. The decision is made.
It looked like the end of their dreams. But Eddie was a stubborn guy. He decided to go it alone. So once everyone was asleep, he crept down and loaded some Newtonic charges aboard the explosives tractor. The noise of the tractor leaving disturbed Bob Gray. But by the time he had gathered his thoughts, Eddie was well on his way. They tried to contact him on the audio phone.
Hello, Eddie? Eddie, can you hear me? No word for half an hour.
You'd better try again.
Eddie, this is Bob. Call in. Call in. Oh, God. I guess we'll have to...
Hi, Bob. This is Eddie. I've planted the chargers.
Eddie! Then get out of there! That peak's cracking up. There'll be a landslide any minute.
I guess I'd better fire the chargers now.
You'll be too close. Get away from there. You kill yourself. The company isn't worth it. Eddie! Eddie, can you hear me? He cut off. He cut off. Eddie! Eddie! Can you hear me?
Yeah? Yeah, I can hear you.
You did it! You're okay! Eddie, the cutting's in no danger now. We can see from here.
Bob, listen. The blast took my tractor. right to the edge. I can't get out. If I move to the door, the thing will overbalance.
Okay, keep calm, Eddie. We're on our way.
There's worse to come. I've still got a case of mutonic charges on board. If this goes over the edge, I'm going to be blown sky high.
Oh, boy. What a spot to be in. This was one situation the construction company wasn't equipped to handle. Time was also against them. At any second, the tractor could slip off the edge to disaster. Suddenly, Bob remembered international rescue. Within seconds, John, in Thunderbird 5, had picked up the SOS.
That's right. You get the picture?
That you can't reach the tractor because of the state of the ground?
The explosions cut the ground up so bad, we just daren't chance our weight on it.
Okay, Mr. Gray, we're on our way. I told him we'd be there, Father. I hope I did right.
Of course you did right, son. What's that supposed to mean, anyway?
I left the name of the guy who's going to be rescued to last.
Why? Who is it?
Eddie Houseman.
Eddie Houseman? Hey, Father, he knows us.
That's right, Scott. Eddie knows us.
That means we can't help? Is that what you're saying, Dad?
No, Alan.
But if we go through with this job, we're going to break our cover. And we all know how essential it is that this outfit remain secret.
What do we do? Turn this call down?
No, John, we don't turn down any call. We've done everything we could to hide our identity, but not at the risk of wasting a life. Carry on, Scott.
Yes, sir.
As usual, the Thunderbird craft were standing ready on their launching pads. The nuclear engines of the machines were charged to allow up to 6 months flying time. Scott entered his machine via the moving ramp which connected the Tracy lounge directly with the nose cone of Thunderbird 1. As the pre-launch checks were carried out, he changed into his duty uniform. Then the craft slid gently down the ramp onto the launch pad. Within a matter of seconds, Thunderbird 1 blasted up through the hole where the swimming pool had been but a few moments before, and was off to the rescue area.
International rescue from Thunderbird 1. Changing to horizontal flight.
As Thunderbird 1 reached top speed, Mr. Tracy was completing his instructions to Virgil and Alan.
Okay, Virgil, that's the brief. Use the magnetic grab. Alan can help you on this one. Any questions?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Away you go. Good luck.
The enormous bulk of Thunderbird 2 dwarfs the other craft, and understandably so, as this is the freighter ship of the International Rescue Fleet. All the heavy rescue gear is stored in 6 pods in the hangar. And once Virgil has selected the required equipment, the gigantic hull of Thunderbird 2 settles over the pod, and the entire unit then proceeds to the launching ramp. So, Virgil made his way directly to the flight deck by means of the chute, again connecting the Tracy lounge to the craft. As he did so, Alan entered the machine by means of the passenger elevator. As you all know, Thunderbird 2 is housed behind a sheer cliff face, which slides away mechanically to allow the craft onto the ramp. Virgil eased his giant charge onto the ramp, the launch procedure was carried out, and they were airborne with a deafening roar. Meanwhile, back at the camp, things were getting desperate. Lester couldn't seem to raise international rescue.
International rescue. Come in, please. Ah, it's no good. I can't reach him.
Thunderbird 1, to rescue area.
Come in, Thunderbird 1. Come in.
Listen, rescue area. It'll be a few more minutes before Thunderbird 2 gets here. I'm going to try and do something about those boulders.
Okay, check. But I don't know what you can do. We were going to try and build a barrier. We haven't got the necessary gear.
Well, we have. So here goes.
Although the bulk of the rescue equipment is always carried in Thunderbird 2, Scott in Thunderbird 1 has a few emergency tricks up his sleeve. A part of his equipment includes a battery of high-tensile, spear-firing tubes. He let loose a salvo, which thudded firmly into the rock face, and these acted as a protective screen against the falling boulders.
Wow. Did you see what I saw?
Some machine. And here comes another one.
Thunderbird 2 from Thunderbird 1. We're glad to see you, fellas. Now, here's the situation, Virgil. I've laid down a steel screen to stop any boulders from knocking the tractor over the edge. Now, lower your craft and pick it up.
FAB, Scott. Okay, Alan. Okay, Scott. I'm coming in now.
I'll guide you in.
And so, Virgil began the tricky task of maneuvering Thunderbird 2 into a canyon not much wider than his wingspan. With Scott's help, he reached a position immediately over the tractor. And then...
Hey, pull away, Virgil. Your vertical jets are tipping it over.
What are we going to do, Scott? We'll have to go in closer if we're going to make contact with the grabs.
Now, we've got to think of a way of stabilizing that tractor while the grabs are attached.
Scott, couldn't they fix a line that would hold it steady?
No, Virgil, I'm sure that's not possible. The ground near the tractor is so badly cracked that even a small increase in weight could tip that balance. Hey, wait. I've got an idea. Now, if this works, Virgil, come straight in and grab him. Stand by, Virgil.
FAB.
Now it was Scott's turn for some tricky flying. Being smaller, Thunderbird 1 was able to negotiate the canyon more easily. But Scott had to get to a position with his nose angled toward the canyon walls and underneath the precariously balanced tractor. He then held the tractor up while Virgil tried again.
Okay, Virgil, come in now. I'll take the strain.
FAB. Coming in now.
This time, it worked, and Alan lowered the grabs, which were then electronically locked onto the tractor.
Okay, Scott. We've got it.
It looked like plain sailing from then on, but...
It's too heavy for the grabs.
We're not going to hold it.
Easy, Virgil. Take it easy. He's slipping. Oh, sorry about that. I guess I got kind of carried away.
Virgil, hold her steady. Eddie's jumping for it.
Eddie leapt onto the mountainside at the first opportunity.
Okay, Virgil, he's clear. Now get the tractor to level ground so we can get to the atomic charges.
FAB, Scott.
But now, there were only 2 grabs supporting the tractor. Virgil raced Thunderbird 2 as swiftly as possible from the scene, heading for open country. It was touch and go all the way, but he made it.
Nearly there.
We can't hold her. She's going.
The tractor finally broke free and plummeted earthwards. There was a shattering explosion.
You saved the road, Eddie. You saved the road. Did I? You ask me, International Rescue did all the saving around here. I'm sure looking forward to thanking those guys.
Doesn't look as though you're gonna get a chance.
Thunderbirds were heading for home, thankful for their successfully accomplished mission, and pleased that the security of the International Rescue Organization had been maintained.
Four, 3, 2, 1. Thunderbirds are go.
It was International Rescue's first operation. John called from the space monitor, Thunderbird 5, and Father called us together in the lounge to tell us the news. The Fire Flash, the giant new atomic-powered aircraft with 600 passengers on board, was in distress at London Airport. Someone had placed a bomb in the landing gear before takeoff. As soon as the Fire Flash touched down, the explosives would smash the atomic reactor and blow the aircraft to pieces. And what's more, Tintin was on board, on her way to join the International Rescue Team.
I don't understand it. Something must be wrong. We're losing height.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? We have developed a minor technical fault and are returning to London. Please fasten your safety belts.
Say, you're right. Oh, but I guess it's nothing to worry about.
Well, I hope not. It's a very long way down from here.
What are we gonna do? I don't know. We can't reach the bomb. We can't land. And if we stay up here, we get radiation exposure. Whichever way you look at it, we don't stand a chance.
They haven't got a chance. We've just got to sit here and wait for them to die.
London Tower from Fireflash. Now circling at 30,000 feet. Radiation safety factor now 2 hours. As far as I can see, London, nothing can save us short of a miracle.
That's just what you might get.
Okay, boys, that's the brief. It's our first assignment, so make it good. As you know, your uniforms are in your craft and must only be worn on call.
Right, Father.
Okay, Father.
Sure thing, Dad.
Yeah, Father.
Okay, Scott? Away you go. And keep in touch.
Yes, sir.
Well, Brains, your phenomenal mind made all this possible. Now you're going to see it in operation.
Well, good luck, Scott.
Take it easy, Scott.
So I got onto the revolving panel that leads to Thunderbird 1, and I glided along the moving floorway to the door of the nose cone. Once I was in the pilot's seat, I pushed the button that prepared the craft for launching. When Thunderbird 1 was sliding down the ramp into the launch pad, I knew that above me, the basin of the swimming pool was moving across to leave the gap above the launching area. Once I got there, I fired the motors, and Thunderbird 1 surged upwards into the daylight.
International Rescue Space Station. This is Thunderbird 1. Give me the lowdown, John.
Thunderbird 1 from Space Station. They're trying to dislodge the bomb by aerobatics, but they're not having much success.
But from what you say, John, we're the only ones that can save them. We better bring up our heavy equipment. It looks like we're going to need it.
I'll contact Father on the TV portrait.
Go ahead, Scott.
I'll be arriving at London Airport in 52 minutes. But it looks like I'll need heavy rescue.
Okay, Scott. I'll organize that right away. Virgil, away you go.
Right, Father.
Well, Virgil went down to the heavy rescue hangar by the chute that drops him right into his chair in the cabin of Thunderbird 2. And while a massive cliff face was dropping away to reveal a hangar entrance, the pods containing the rescue machinery were slipping along the conveyor belt. When Pod 3 had arrived under the aircraft, the tall legs of Thunderbird 2 retracted, and the craft sank on top of it. Then Virgil rolled his machine forward to its ramp, fired the rockets, and in seconds he was airborne, on his way to join me. But by now, I was well on my way to London Airport. In the rescue business, speed is all important, and my Thunderbird is capable of reaching phenomenal speeds. I guess in the London control tower, they could hardly believe their eyes when they picked me up on their radar screens.
Aircraft approaching from the east, height 2,500 feet. Speed 7.5 thousand miles per hour.
7.5 thousand miles an hour. Have you gone crazy?
London Tower, this is International Rescue. Fireflash is in trouble, and we are equipped to help you. Request permission to land.
International Rescue? What is this?
That must be the aircraft I just picked up.
This I must see. International Rescue, you are clear to land. Use runway 29.
Will not require runway. Coming in vertically. London Tower, from International Rescue. Now, listen carefully. I want men and transport to take my portable equipment to your control tower, and I want an assurance from you that you will place guards in my aircraft to ensure that no photographs are taken.
International Rescue, please give me information about your organization. We cannot grant facilities without knowing more details.
Look, there are 600 people up there with about 40 minutes to live. Now, you can't help them, but I believe we can. Now, what's it going to be?
All right, International Rescue. But I just hope you know what you're doing.
I guess the airport controller knew that there was no time for argument. The situation was now desperate. Already one attempt to save Fireflash had been made. They had winched a man from another aircraft into the wing of the Fireflash in an attempt to dismantle the bomb. But when he got there, he lost his grip and fell out through the open hatch. The controller was as good as his word. In seconds, the runway was swarming with police cars that converged on Thunderbird 1. But somehow the saboteur, the guy who had put the bomb in the Fireflash, had got amongst them, posing as a police officer and with a camera concealed in the badge of his cap.
As I thought. International rescue are arriving on the scene. Part 2 of my plan about to commence.
Now, let's recap. Fireflash has another 30 minutes before its radiation safety factor expires.
Right.
Now, the specialized gear that I require for the rescue will be here in 20 minutes, leaving us just 10 minutes to put our rescue into operation. Thunderbird 2, this is mobile control. Confirm estimated time of arrival, London Airport.
Okay, Scott. Arriving in 19 and 1/2 minutes from now.
Now, as soon as you arrive, unload high-speed elevator car with 2 radio control subsidiaries, then proceed to end of runway 29 and report.
Thunderbird 1, FAB.
Fireflash, this is International Rescue Mobile Control. In approximately 18 minutes from now, I will request you to land using runway 29. You are to come in with landing gear up. Repeat, landing gear up. Make a completely normal approach and keep your head.
Now, to make sure that no one takes photographs of Thunderbird 1. Except me, of course.
The automatic camera detector, quick! Someone's photographing the instrument panel of Thunderbird 1. It's imperative that you get this man and stop him.
Airport police, this is the control tower. Someone is taking photographs inside the International Rescue aircraft. Grab him and bring him in for questioning.
Mobile control, this is Thunderbird 2. Approaching London Airport.
Okay, Virgil. You're clear to land. The airport is closed to all traffic during this emergency.
FAB, touching down on end of 29.
London Tower from Airport Mobile Police. We have lost contact with pursued car. Vehicle was last seen turning onto M1, heading towards Birmingham.
Message received and understood. I'm sorry. We did our best.
Okay. Leave this to me. Mobile Control calling International Rescue, England.
International Rescue. Lady Penelope speaking.
Require your assistance. Man with photographic records of Thunderbird 1 proceeding along M1 motorway in your direction. Car registration 695 CMO. Over.
Mobile Control. FAB. Oh dear, how inconvenient. Just as I'm expecting visitors. 3 coach loads, too. How well.
You called, milady?
Yes, Parker. Get the Rolls-Royce. We're going for a little drive.
So, Lady Penelope, with Parker at the wheel of her Rolls-Royce Fab 1, speeded towards the motorway in hot pursuit. But for the Fireflash, time was running out. The pilot's voice sounded grim when he radioed through to me in the airport control tower.
Mobile control from Fireflash. We have only 5 minutes left. Unless you can stop rescue operation immediately. We've had it.
Stand by, Fireflash. Thunderbird 2 from Mobile Control. Are you ready, Virgil?
Mobile control and Fireflash, this is Thunderbird 2. I'm ready.
Virgil was seated at the controls of his master elevator car, which he drove out of the pod. Behind him came 2 other elevator trucks, which he could control by remote radio. Each of the three machines had a massive flat roof cushioned by powerful springs. When Virgil told me he was in position at the start of the runway, I radioed the Fireflash pilot with final instructions.
Control to Fireflash. Commence your approach, and good luck. After acknowledgement of this transmission, do not make any further calls. Whatever happens, keep this frequency clear.
Roger, Control.
Starting approach now.
Aircraft approaching glide path 5 miles to threshold.
Stand by, Virgil. Fireflash, on final approach.
Virgil waited in the master elevator car for me to give the final go-ahead. In the control tower, the radar operator was describing the Fireflash's final approach.
Aircraft on glide path 3.5 miles to threshold.
Stand by, crash tenders.
Crash tenders to center of runway 29.
Roger.
Stand by, Virgil. Fireflash, 1.5 miles from threshold. 1.25 miles from threshold. 1 mile from threshold. Start tracking.
Mobile control, FAB.
Fireflash 700 yards from threshold. Airspeed 130 knots.
Increase to 108.
FAB.
As Virgil's 3 elevator trucks raced along beneath it, the Fireflash dropped lower and lower. With utmost concentration, the entire team used all their skill and precision to bring the vehicles into exactly the right position for exactly the right moment.
Okay, Fireflash. Cut engines.
As the massive aircraft was about to rest on the trucks, a fault developed in one of them.
Fireflash, overshoot. Overshoot.
So Virgil backtracked to the starting point and brought out of the pod the 4th and last elevator car, and the whole operation was started again.
Okay, here we go. And this time, it's the last time.
Aircraft approaching glide path 4 miles to threshold.
Stand by, Virgil. Fireflash on final approach.
Okay, Scott. Standing by.
On glide path, rate of descent 500 feet a minute. Aircraft on glide path 3 miles to threshold.
Stand by, crash tenders.
Crash cruise to center of 29. Runway ahead, 2 miles.
Fireflash, now 1 mile from threshold. Start tracking.
Mobile control, FAB.
Fireflash 500 yards from threshold. Airspeed 120 knots.
Increase to 105.
105, FAB.
So the mighty Fireflash, with its crew and passengers of 600, came roaring down towards the runway. Ahead of it raced Virgil's 3 elevator cars. Gradually, the Fireflash came into a position directly above the cars. One wing over each of the radio cars and a massive fuselage over Virgil's master car. With barely a yard separating the cars from the Fireflash, Virgil shouted a command to the Fireflash pilot.
Fireflash from Thunderbird 2. Cut engines.
The port wing of the Fireflash suddenly dropped dangerously near the ground.
Fireflash, lift port wing. Lift port wing.
The engine sprang to life, and the wing rose just enough for the radio truck to race into position beneath it.
Cut power. Okay, Fireflash, reverse thrust.
The Fireflash was now totally supported by the 3 elevator cars, but by now they were running out of runway.
I'm applying brakes down here.
We're not going to make it. We're running out of runway.
Hold tight, Fireflash. Applying maximum brakes.
The strain on the elevator cars was colossal. The tires were exploding. And finally, the master elevator car with Virgil inside it slewed off course. With a mighty bump, Fireflash dropped to the ground, and there was a terrific display of sparks as the aircraft scraped down the last few yards of runway. With only feet to go, the giant liner drew to a halt. For a ghastly moment, we held our breath. Would the impact affect the bomb inside the wing? But all was well. The bomb did not explode.
They made it. They made it. Jolly good show, old boy.
And what a show.
Well, how can we ever thank you?
Well, I tell you, it's essential for the reason I explained to you that our organization remains top secret. I want you to contact your authorities and make sure that there are no aircraft within a 100-mile radius when we leave, and their assurance that we will not be tracked. Whatever happens, secrecy must be maintained at all costs.
I'll do my best. But talking of secrecy, how about that character who photographed your aircraft?
Don't worry. You'll be taken care of.
We're closing in on him, milady.
Good, Parker. Wait till we get to a clear stretch of road. We don't want to create a scene.
Very good, milady.
Go ahead, Parker.
Yes, milady.
Well done, Parker.
Thank you, madam. Home, milady?
Home, Parker.
It looked like that guy wasn't going to give us any more trouble. The roll of film containing the photographed secrets of international rescue could not possibly survive that wreck.
My pictures. They are ruined. Someone will pay for this. International Rescue haven't heard the last of me.